Okay, headed to check the fish wheel. Taking the goat. Let's go see how the fishes are doing. Alright. Boys getting the truck put away. I'm gonna go check the wheel. If there's any fish down there, I'll do this. Oh good, fish wheel is looking good. It's in a pretty tight channel now as the river keeps dropping. As the river keeps dropping, the water gets slimmer and slimmer in here. Which could mean this is the one good channel for the fish to come through. And we might just be mobbing them here. It could also mean that they down lower pick a different channel. You know, I don't know. It looks pretty good actually out here below. But we'll see. Liam's been in Oregon for most of the summer, so he's just getting his chops back at filleting. It takes a little time, so I always, watch that dorsal. You gotta be down on it. Yeah, I'm not gonna show you that. It takes a little time to get the skills back, and you really have to pay attention to the little things to get a good fillet. And maybe I can set up the camera and show a bit of my process. There's a lot of different ways to do this. You got to go with what you know. I've tried many of the different ways, and I focus, since we have so many fish and we're working on harvest, by working on something that is efficient and maximizes the fillet. There will be some remaining pin bones in there, but for the most part, all ribs and everything I get out pretty darn effectively. So quick and effective is what I go for in terms of the bulk of fish that we get. Practice is key, however. Okay, well, we're harvesting. We've gone from harvesting now into processing salmon. We've got some gorgeous red salmon, and we're working on this in the backyard here at Basecamp, Alaska. This is a great looking red. I'm just going to walk through a bit of my process with this. I'm certainly not a pro. I focus on efficiency of both getting all of the meat that I can and also in time, because we've got 18 red salmon to harvest right now, and we'll have probably just as many more a little bit later today. So that'll be roughly 40 fish to go through today. So being efficient is important. All right, first step, good sharp knife. I sharpen up after every few fish. Doesn't take a whole lot. After every couple fish, a couple runs through there, I go right behind. This is the gill plate here. As you notice, the gill pops up here. And just behind there's this really hard bone. That's the gill plate. The one time that I'm going to bring this knife towards facing my hand is at this time. And I'm being really cautious. That plate will stop just about anything. There we go. And from now on, blade always away from my hand. Oh, we got a female. Great, we'll keep these eggs for all kinds of future endeavors. It's down to the backbone here on this dorsal section of the fish. And I'm really going to watch that part. Watching this line right along here, pressing down with the knife so I capture as much as I can. And I will come back and get belly meat. Down, down, down. And let's see how we did. Flip over for the reveal. Excellent. Look at that. So there's just bones along this backside, just ribs here. I'll come back in and clean these out. And before I do anything else, I'm going to take these lovely eggs out, set them just gently here so I don't break the skein or the sac that they're in. Egg sac. It holds all of the eggs together. It's called a skein. Wow, man. All right, I'll come back after to work on that. Now we'll flip directly over. I find that I'm often much better at one side than the other. I've practiced working on my weak side first, but I find that then my weak side is slightly better and my good side is slightly worse, so I'll just stick to my strengths on that. Once again, really watching that backbone, or that dorsal section of the fish. Alright, popping back out. Then, look at that. That's all that's remaining. A little work to do on getting this little tail section out. Let's see. Flip it around. A little tough. This section is so tough, you really can't bite into it. So that goes to the dogs after it's frozen to kill any critters that may be lurking about. And having it frozen makes anything that's tough a lot more palatable, as it becomes more of a frozen treat than. Not that they'd have any trouble, I guess, getting through it, but all right, keeping away, cutting away from myself at all times. Okay, so this is going to get stored over here where we keep the heads. Come back for that. Yours must be sharper than mine. Okay. Heads. Heads all get kept in the bin, in the bucket there. And then finally, in terms of the fish, this section, there's nothing really here but bones and some fin. So not real valuable for the dogs. And I'm just going to return this section to the biome, return it to the environment so that it can continue to be nutrient rich. Down she floats. And that's good because that returns all those nutrients back into the environment, helps the river to remain nutrient rich. Now I'm going to go in behind and cut just along these rib bones. And this is a really important cut. This is an opportunity to undo all the good work that I did on the flip side, or to really nail it here. Jack's whining over there. He's had plenty of goodies. Get out of here, little meaty. All right, and just really carefully sliding up keeping these cuts as minimal as possible. Just trying to unzip it. It can be a little difficult as you try to find something that you can hold on to without crushing the meat. So, you know, this is not one of those times when you just want to hurry through it. Well, maybe it's a time when you might want to, but what kind of footage are we getting there with you fighting these off? Right. Yeah, I gotta be really careful. This section is not always very wide, but you look at that. So that's the back side. Hey, go on. Go on. Hey. Pisses me off. Yep. Backed them both off. Nicely done.
They must be neutered.
Little by little. So difficult to grab. Go down this direction and try to come back. Alright, go on. We're not still rolling, are we? Alright, another day at the Fishwheel. We're going to go see how things are going. See what the fish count is for today. Okay, so let's go over a bit of how a fish wheel works. So, fish swim upstream, right? That's how salmon swim. We all know this. They swim upstream, then they come into this section here. So, fish wheel's got to be appropriately placed so you find out where the fish are going. They need to want to go where you're going to be. So you set up in a good spot. Right now, the river, is really shallow in this channel, shallow and narrow, so we don't have a lot of room to mess with, but we got a good spot, so that makes all the difference. They swim up into this bucket here. The buckets are scooping against the direction of their travel, and as you can see, the slides are angling down. So they get scooped up, they slide down that channel, and they land down in that bucket. And from the bucket, then Liam scoops them up, bonks them on the head. They go into the cooler. From the cooler, we head on up the steps into the truck, and we head on to Basecamp to process them there. So it goes from the river to Basecamp directly and right into the freezer or into the dehydrator.